Today, I'm coming to you from Hollywood to talk about visual effects. Actually, I'm just recording in my basement, but we can still talk about visual effects. Let's go. Ooh, God, whew, all right, that was fun. Okay, visual effects. I'm not a visual effects artist. I didn't go to school for visual effects and really have not been taught by anyone other than through most of what we do is use the resources, like YouTube. I do teach animation with After Effects, more of kind of the broadcast, corporate style, lower thirds, moving graphics with text and stuff like that. But with what I've been doing in our feature film, I've had to learn a lot as an independent filmmaker to get things done. And so again, nowhere near the level of what Hollywood visual effects artists or even people that do this full time. But here are some of the things I've learned that I think are valuable lessons for visual effects artists, especially for beginners. Number one, preparation. And this kind of goes to like every filmmaker. Before you make a film, you've got to do your pre-production. And what I mean by preparation is thinking about, well, what is the end product going to look like? So filmmaking itself is a lot of this backwards process. You have to think about the end result and then try to think about how you're going to get there. So if you're using a green screen, one thing to think about is, well, what am I going to put behind the subject or subjects in terms of that green screen? And this goes into your preparation to think about that. It also is very important that if you are going to be putting your subject on a street corner or whatever it might be, then think about the lighting to match the lighting. So anything you can do to help the final result and preparation is really important. Number two, learn the different types of techniques. There are so many different software programs out there and different techniques that visual effects artists, like I mentioned on YouTube, all these resources that you can go to and kind of see how they get things done. And the reason I say this is for the techniques, everyone's going to do things differently. There might be one preferred way, but when you learn a program, there's going to be multiple ways to get to the end result, and it's going to be how do you know what to do and what are you most comfortable with. So sometimes I might say, oh, I need to mask this out, or sometimes I might say, oh, I can use a track mat, what it might be. So definitely think about the different techniques that go into like keying. What program are you going to use to key? Third thing, pay attention to the details. And this is really important for visual effects artists out there, especially for anyone starting. It's not one of those things that if you're using a green screen that you just key out your subject and place in, whatever is the background and you're done. There are so many more steps that you need and can do to make something feel more real, especially for your audience. It can be obviously with the keying, looking at the edging, so spill suppression so you don't have that green fall off, curves to kind of match, and even a tint effect to match the background so that way they look like they were actually in the same environment, camera lens blur to maybe blur out the background to give that separation for depth. And so this is one thing that my students sometimes get really frustrated with, because I continuously tell them, what kind of effects can you apply to help polish or enhance and make the piece look more realistic and add that realism? So details, the attention to details is really important for visual effects artists. The fourth thing, have patience. It's gonna take time. I think visual effects and doing the CGI and kind of those artists are really, really individuals that have to kind of have those patience, because it takes a lot of time, not just for those details like I mentioned to get things done and get them to look right, and the more you do it you're going to get faster, but also if you don't have a powerful computer, the more you start adding things, your computer's going to start to get bogged down and slow down for the rendering. So this is where I say have patience. If you're in After Effects like I am, a lot of times I have to drop it to a quarter resolution just to see what things look like, and then when I feel like I like it, then I bump it up to full resolution and kind of test it. But patience is kind of really important for visual effects artists. So overall, if you're interested in getting involved with visual effects, I think a great place to start is obviously YouTube, and just watch all those resources. Find people in the area or anyone that you might know that is a visual effects artist or has some of these skills, and ask questions, you know. Again, start small, and just, you know, start with learning how to use a green screen and key, you know, out a subject, and then add the, you know, the details. And the opening of this one, it was one of those things. I took that basic Hollywood background. It was a static image, nothing really good. I tried my best, and I don't think it looks that great, but I was working fast to match the lighting for myself and in the background. But since that was a static image, I added a bird flying in the background. I added some palm trees so that way we could see a little bit of movement. So, you know, the more you kind of play around, you're going to start to kind of go, oh, this looks better. But yeah, just start from the beginning, learn a lot, and have fun with while you're doing it. It's going to be a process, and the more you do it, trust me, you're still going to look at the end and go, this looks like crap. But the whole purpose is to make the audience believe, and if you can suspend that disbelief and make it look real, then you've done your job. So keep learning, have fun, and keep telling stories.